Hey everybody, this is Brandon Dirty Secret Smith. I'm bringing you a demo from CGS Combine 1. My team, well, X team, GamingRev versus Pandemic on Inferno. Early in the tournament, we played 3D on Inferno, which probably was the stronger of the two opponents on this match. We did beat 3D 10-3. Pandemic doesn't really match that. So let's just get into the demo. Basically, we knew that Devour and Sunny both played Banana, and that Sunny was a lot more passive than the average Banana player. He very rarely went into the site, and we knew Sam was obviously going to be opping it. The A site, you won't really get to see too much action on the A site because we were mainly targeting Sam. So right here, we're going to be throwing we're going to double back on this fake. We're going to throw all our flashes and smokes, except for saving a few. Going to try and get them to throw their smokes and flashes into the site because we want to go into this site with not having a white screen because we know we can out-aim them. Doesn't actually work. Sunny ends up picking up two of us. It's just bad on our part. There was bad smokes. Gave them the exits for us. This is our fake strat where Kyle and Mike will be going back to A. I'll be calling these the 1.6 sites too, not the source sites. Mike and Kyle probably have the best teamwork on this team. A good point to make on this note is that getting in the site and staying in it and utilizing everything in the site is a very good idea as long as you can use your nades coordinated and everything. And what you see, Disciple does do it very well, and we pick up the round to go up 1-0. This was not our standard default, which was three of us working B and one falling back to middle and one going halls. We'll run that fake one more time. I think around 5 or 6, around one of those rounds. They actually don't fall for it and they catch us, so we opt not to run it anymore. At this point, I'm supposed to be dropping the bomb, and my key's not bound apparently because somebody unbinded it in the tournament. I want to make another point. At this time, we're sitting directly across from Core in the Combine, and they'd been having a really poor performance. So we really wanted to just showcase that we could just absolutely manhandle them. And the only way to really do that was to just destroy Devour, who at the time was their best player and their only real hope. So we target his site mostly, I'd say 90% of the rounds. We're going to go into this site throwing smokes flashes just like normal. Nikon throws an amazing nade. We still pick up the round. I'm going to cut to Cannon right here. He decides to peek the construction entrance, which I don't necessarily agree with. He should have held that more passive angle next to the light, which he was standing at earlier. Probably would have helped against better players, but he does end up getting the kills. But he then, in return, gets traded off after killing two, though. So I guess it does work. This is a good note taker right here. KG and Disciple both play their parts very well. Not overly peeking, but not leaving one another stranded too much. And they do pick up the round. This round, leading into this round, this is the first time we had actually had real B spawns. So I'm going to be throwing smokes middle to basically isolate Torres and Daff, who both were aggressive. We knew they were both aggressive because we had played them many times on this map, and they just love to peek the halls. So we wanted to keep them honest while we didn't really want to attack B too quick because we'll showcase that later. But we do want to slow peek it, but also keep them honest at the other side because we are going to eventually explode on this side. I'll be throwing that nade pretty much every single round into the back because I know Sunny likes to go there in the beginning, and sometimes he'll float back there. But 60 to 70% of the time, he's going to be outside the site. We're throwing smokes and flashes and going straight in. Something I want to point out, that flash that I threw into spawn, it can be used more than just to blind Sunny. It's to make him do what I want him to do. I know he's going to be playing at the truck or tree or construction exit. So I basically throw that to make him fall back to one of those points. I know where he's going to be, and he actually does fall back to where I want him to, and I end up getting him killed. Another note, when I push spawn right there, the only reason I push that spawn is because I know that core is not going to over-rotate because they know that we're capable of running a fake because we've already run it on them once. So they're a little bit hesitant to rotate. So I decide to push it, and I do actually catch Torres off guard, and it does work. Right here, they tried to get aggressive on banana, which was really unorthodox for them at the time because I don't believe Sunny really ever left the spawn side. They do get shut down. We're just countering them. This spot I'm at right now, well, where I was for a second, which I'll end up back there by the end of the round, sitting next to the truck, is actually a really, really good spot. A lot of people don't use it enough. It's a much tighter angle for yourself, but the majority of players are gonna come over the top of the truck, or they're gonna run alongside and check tree. Very rarely will they check next to the truck, and you'll see that it does work. So yeah. On this round right here, again, we're going to keep running the same thing. Trying to keep them honest at the other site, but also just manhandling B. So I'll keep throwing that smoke and stuff up there. My point is just to delay right here. Let Kyle slow pick with an op. He knows exactly how Sam's going to play. We did our research leading up to it, and he pretty much... Sam is not really peeking him too much, so we get to do our own thing and walk up and throw our smokes and nades and everything. We're just slow peeking it. I'm gonna be throwing those flashes to try and make Sunny move. I make a really just a really questionable play right there for me to rush like that. I don't know. I guess I got caught up in the moment, which I'll talk about later. Trying to keep your cool and stuff in situations. This was a very intense match for us because we were sitting directly across from them, and we did want to just destroy them. So I make a bad mistake. I probably should have dropped back and thrown a nade or a flash at that point, but you know, we still pick up the round, so it's okay. They were on eco, so this round right here, you're gonna see me make a mistake where I should have committed to my role and I didn't, and you'll see in the later rounds where I actually do commit to my role and it actually pays off for us. But as far as committing on your team and your role and everything, I'll just elaborate into that since you'll see what I'm about to do. Basically, each player on the team has a role. My role on Hyper was to be a fragger, but when I joined GamingRev, my role was I didn't have to worry about being a fragger. I could be a role player, team player, where I get my flashes, my smokes, I run my strats right, and I'm not relied on to get all the kills and stuff like I was in Hyper. This is the point I'm making right here. I'm supposed to go in with them. I get flash and I fall back, which ends up getting myself killed and them killed too. Cannon does trade off for one, which is fine, but he doesn't get the next one. Sunny locked down the site, and that was the second time he played there, I believe, and each time he got 2 or 3 of us, but he very rarely gets to go back there. This is the one time that we do lose the fake, and it cost us because it was the only round they had and we really wanted to shut them out. But that's the round I'm talking about, where just sticking to your role in your team, doing what you're supposed to do, and actually paying off. This round right here is our rush B strat. We will absolutely just explode onto B. No slow takes, nothing. You'll see me commit to my role. I'm going to be running straight up, throwing my high flash, obviously, in case Sam decides to peek, but he really hasn't peeked. Flashing straight over into the site. I'm going to run straight in. I'm completely blind at this point. I catch a glimpse of Sunny at the generator. I'm just going to spray in his general direction. I'm completely blind, and I do get him. And the only reason I'm able to do that is because I stuck to my role. My teammates came in right behind me, even though they were blind too. We were able to get the bomb down. It does pay off, just because we were able to trust each other. Last round it failed because we didn't really do that. Right here, I really wanted Cannon to hold that angle since it paid off for him last time, and I was able to bait him out. He decides to peek and just kill him. So, but at this point, we were just hitting our shots, and we were all on the same key. So there's nothing really core could have changed to change, the sway of things. Right here, I believe we're going to be running our actual default that we ran against 3D, which got us 7 rounds against 3D on our T side, which consists of Kyle just slow picking banana, myself and Zach going up into the halls. They are on eco. We're just going to clear the halls completely. Zach's directly behind me, so I don't worry about my back at the end of halls. He'll come up, and I'll just clear the baby room. We end up taking them out in A, and we just drop down and plant. Something I want to note that at this point I had not seen this site at all in this entire match. So I didn't know how they played it. I didn't know if they did any kind of boost on the door and the ledge, but I still remembered to clear it and check it because it was eco, and that is a typical eco, I guess, eco-friendly spot. So just remember to keep it simple. Just remember the basic things to do, and you'll more than likely have success on rounds. You don't have to get too fancy on your play or anything like that. Typical straightforward play will work, but another thing you can't stress enough is to know when to change your gears, when to go aggressive, when to go passive. It's just like any other like tournament, I guess. So we're gonna run our default again, where we'll be working into the halls, and they're gonna do the wrap, which will consist of them going up porch, myself and Zach going in the halls, and Kyle delaying up middle after he gets a slow pick at B, and then going around arches. This round does showcase that strat very well because it does come down to a one-on-one, and Daff has no idea where KG is. That first flash I throw right there off that haystack will blind anyone that's at the porch, as well as pit watching like the left side of the flagpole. And the second flash I throw blinds anyone in the site, as well as graveyard and mini. The point of this strat though is for Zach to go straight out and for me to jump left. He gets killed, I trade off, and then Daff shoots me on the side because I was counter flashed in the halls, and then we delayed porch, so he was able to get unblind back in the site. Daff has no idea where KG is, and KG is currently wrapping on him, and he gets him. So that's our default. It paid off really well against 3D, so we stuck with it. 2 rounds against Pandemic and got them both. Pretty much destroyed them T side. Something I want to note though, just keeping it simple, just keep it basic. You don't have to really change things up if they're not working. I mean, if things are working, you don't have to change them up. There's no point to just change it for the sake of changing it. Obviously, Pandemic was not able to out-aim us or control a site, so we just kept to what we knew, and it paid off. On this setup, we're going to have Kyle and Disciple, both in Banana, Zach at Arches, and myself and Jimmy, Porch and Halls. Me and Jimmy have played Porch and Halls together for about 3 years. The only new addition on this roster was Zach at Arches, and he played it perfectly fine. You're only going to get to see 2 rounds on this, though, because we do end up beating them 10-1. I wish there was a little bit more on this, but it's just how it goes. This spot I'm at right now is basically a bait out spot, just to call the rush for Jimmy if they're coming Halls or Porch. I can hear the Porch side, and Halls, I can actually see through it's kind of tough, but I can see through the haystack into the halls, and I'll be able to spot a name. Jimmy drops, and I rotate because they're hitting banana. But that is a good little spot and trick because their name will pop up when they run by. They smoke and flash and nade, so I just automatically start dropping things in. I'm going to run straight in, and I'm going to fall back because I can't see the smoke. I catch Torres being aggressive, which I don't really like that, to try and run through construction when you don't really have control of that area. I'm going to be a little bit passive at this point. I don't want to commit too much to the site. It's a one-on-one. I know where Daff's at, and he walks right into my crosshairs. We're about 100% certain that at this point they're going to hit our site. So me and Jimmy try and boost on the door. We're going to play a little bit of a bait passive setup. We're going to have Zach at Arches or Library, depending on how fast he wants to fall back. Jimmy's just going to be playing the pit side. He gets me up there. I'm pretty sure I hear footsteps at this point, and there's smoke, so we're pretty certain that this is where they're going to be hitting. There's flashes being thrown everywhere. That's why you'll see me turn my head here in a minute. The flashes were getting thrown. They're canceling out each other, so I'm catching glimpses of the screen where I'm not blind. And I see one come out, and I'm blind. Then I'm unblind. Well, this is the point about remaining calm. I could have freaked out, but I stayed calm. Probably should have gotten one more kid. But it's okay because Pandemic just ends up falling apart. They make really simple mistakes of just overly peeking when not necessary. Cannon gets a pick right there, which is really crucial. But then he makes a mistake of committing to the site too soon on a 2-on-1. He probably could have held the angle at Arch and just let Mike wrap around and Sunny walk out of the site. He does peek him. And he does get killed right here. Mike's slowly walking up. Zach obviously makes a call that he's still behind the cart. Mike creeps in. Sees him. And kills him. So that's pretty much it. Couple things I just want to point out for a wrap up. Just keeping it simple. Not overly getting too aggressive. Knowing when to change gears. And just staying calm. Alright, see ya.